What's up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the numbers. These are my showdown picks for week 3. On Monday night, we have the Baltimore Ravens versus the Kansas City Chiefs, and we really can't ask for a much better game here. It's going to be really exciting. Two of the most exciting teams in the NFL. So it's a 54.5 point game total, so it should be a pretty big scoring game here. Ravens are 3.5 point favorites as well. Before we get into my picks, if you guys can please leave this video a like, subscribe if you have not yet, would really appreciate that a bunch. But we're going to start up top with Lamar Jackson, and the only problem here is he's very, very expensive. I don't know if you have to play both quarterbacks at the same time here, although it would be ideal. It's just, man, are they expensive this week, especially Lamar Jackson at $13,000, but, it's definitely warranted. He has a ton of upside, not doing, as much as I'd like him to do this year, and I do own him in season-long fantasy, so hopefully he gets going, and I'm sure he will, especially in a game like this. But against Cleveland, he had 27.5 points. In that game, they got out to a big lead, kind of took their foot off the pedal in that second half. Against Houston, 17.56 points. So I'm expecting a very high scoring performance here for Lamar Jackson. I don't hate the captain, but man, is it going to be tough to captain Lamar Jackson this week with that price. But it's definitely warranted if you would like to go there. But I do think there's so many great plays where I really don't think you have to captain a quarterback in this game, and we'll definitely talk about some more. But Lamar Jackson, he's going to be one of my favorite plays on the slate. He's going to be a very good flex play for me. Just all the upside in the world for Jackson. Multiple touchdown upside. Of course, you have that rushing yard upside as well. I really like Jackson this week and in this game against the Kansas City Chiefs. Same thing can be said against for Patrick Mahomes here. Very talented quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Taking a look here against Houston, had 20.44 points, 30 against the Chargers there, and another guy that has a lot of upside. Like I said, if you want to put both quarterbacks in the flex spot, it's not an awful look. It's just, are you going to be able to this week? And I messed around with it a little bit, and I was able to make some lineups I did like with both quarterbacks in the flex spot, but it's going to be like almost impossible to captain a quarterback and have that other quarterback in your flex spot as well. Just very expensive this week, and rightfully so. Both these quarterbacks are two of the highest scoring fantasy quarterbacks in the league. So I really do like Patrick Mahomes. Getting into some plays here, we have Travis KELCE, and he is at 10,000. I think he's fine at 10,000. Honestly, I'd rather go down a little bit and get guys like Hill and Mark Andrews, but KELCE is definitely warranted of that $10,000 price tag. 24 points last week, 17 in week 1. It's just the price is very expensive. If you do want to get the quarterbacks in your lineup, it's going to be hard to get a guy like Travis KELCE in there as well with that price tag. But like I said, honestly, I'd rather go down a little bit and get TYREEK Hill. And I do want to point out that Sammy Watkins is going to be questionable for this game. If Watkins does not play, it's going to only bump up the targets for TYREEK Hill. In week 1, I guess it was a little concerning. He had 15.6 points early in the game. He was doing pretty much nothing. It seemed like he was not getting the ball all that much, and I think he scored later in that game against the Texans there. But against the Chargers, he got 21.8 points. Definitely had a very good game there, and he's more than capable of having a good game here against Baltimore. TYREEK Hill is somebody I really like at 9,200 because you're getting a ton of upside. He has a long, he's a deep threat, has multiple touchdown upside in a game that's projected to score 54.5 points. I really like TYREEK Hill, and I really like that price tag. You get kind of a discount off of KELCE. I kind of put TYREEK Hill and KELCE in like the same category because they're both capable of going off on any given night, and you're getting a nice discount off of KELCE. So my preferred play would be Hill over KELCE just due to that savings here. Getting into Marquise Brown, I think he's fine at 8,400. 12 targets through 2 games, 6 in week 1, 6 in week 2, 10 receptions, so very efficient there. 18 points in week 1, 9.2 points in week 2 there. I think it's a fine play at 8,400. He's definitely a deep threat. He's definitely somebody you do like targeting on these showdown slates because he has the ability to go off on any given week. So Brown, I think Brown's fine. Getting into the next play here, Mark Andrews is really interesting at 8,000. So only 9 targets through 2 weeks, which is really weird. But like I mentioned in the Cleveland game, like they kind of took their foot off the gas pedal in that second half. You can say the same thing in the Houston game, towards the end of the game. But only 3.9 points against Houston. Kansas City is not great at all against the tight end. So I can see Mark Andrews really going off here at 8,000. He did have only 1 reception last week as well, which is really concerning there, but I'm sure he's going to be fine. I'm sure he's going to bounce back. Hopefully people see that, and it really does lower his ownership, because I really like Andrews at that price. You're getting a huge discount on the other tight end, Travis KELCE, like a $2,000 discount. So Andrews is definitely somebody that I am looking at. And then another guy that's way too cheap here, EDWARDS-HELAIRE here at 7,800 on the Kansas City offense. I guess, 10 attempts last week for only 38 yards, 13 DraftKings points. But, these Kansas City running backs, the starting one, the main guy on Kansas City, no matter who it is, it seems like they go off pretty much every single year. I mean, we've seen it, the past couple of years. These Kansas City running backs are very, very, very good at fantasy. And, EDWARDS-HELAIRE is a very talented young running back here. So I do think it's definitely warranted to play some HELAIRE at 7,800, just way too cheap. Multiple touchdown upside and a 54.5 point game total. Honestly, I'd be shocked if he doesn't score here in a very high scoring game. He's able to catch the ball as well. 10 targets through 2 games, something you really want to see from these running backs, especially in Showdown. 6 receptions in 2 games as well. So yeah, EDWARDS-HELAIRE is somebody I really like. I think he's even, you can even captain him as well. Just way too cheap. I don't really understand that price point. And then we can kind of skip over some guys here. Just want to touch on the main guys I'm looking at for this slate, but those guys up top, they're all in play. I mean, every single week, all of them are. Mark Ingram doesn't really have that pass catching upside, 6,800. Not too interested there. If he goes off for a 100-yard game, 2 touchdowns, so be it. I'm not interested in Mark Ingram. Of course, you don't want to play those backup quarterbacks. Dobbins just doesn't get enough action for me, for my liking. And then Sammy Watkins. So he's questionable. If he does play, I will have some interest at 5,000. So in week 1, it surprised a lot of people, including me. 9 targets, 7 receptions, 21.5 DraftKings points. If he's able to go, I will definitely have some action on Sammy Watkins due to the 5,000 price tag, due to the upside. Mahomes is going to throw the ball a decent amount, very efficient as well. I think he can get Watkins the ball. If Watkins does not play, I will be looking at another guy we'll talk about really soon. Hardman's fine. There is a guy I like a little bit more with Hardman, 4,600. Like, if Watkins doesn't play, I think Hardman's fine. 4 targets through 2 games. But if Watkins does play, I'm just not going to touch Hardman. But if Watkins does not play, I think Hardman's fine. Snead's okay, but there is a play I like a little bit better than him. I will talk about in a second. I think the kickers are fine, I guess, in a game that's 54.5 point game total. Usually I like to target the favorite, which is going to be Justin Tucker. I think Tucker's fine, I guess. But I just feel like some of these guys around this price range can outscore these kickers. I think there's some guys with some actually decent upside there. So the kickers are fine. I wouldn't touch the Ravens defense. I wouldn't touch the Chiefs defense as well. Unless there's like some kind of touchdown or anything, I don't think they're really going to be on the optimal lineup there. And then Boykin is really interesting, a wide receiver for the Ravens, the second best wide receiver on the team. 9 targets through 2 games, 7 receptions. Very, very interesting play here. 7.8 DraftKings points in week 2, 6.7 in week 1. Yeah, I like it. I like the price tag, especially if he can score the ball here. Oh my gosh, it's going to be a fantastic play. The volume is there, especially for a guy in this price range. And yeah, like I said, if he scores, it's probably going to be optimal down here. So Miles Boykin is definitely somebody I'm looking at for kind of a cheaper play. And we're going to need some of these cheaper plays, with all the great plays up top. So Robinson is very interesting. In his 2 games, he has 10 targets. If Watkins does not play, I'll be very interested in Robinson. And even if Watkins does play, I think he's a fine play as well at 3,000. I believe he dropped a touchdown last week. I think it was like right in his hands, and he dropped a touchdown. But like I said, 10 targets. 6 receptions through 2 weeks, averaging about 5.4 DraftKings points. If he can, find the end zone. If Watkins does not play, I think he'll get more targets as well. So that's somebody I'm really looking at also. And then other than that, like I said, Chiefs defense not too interested in. I'm not really interested in Gus Edwards, Williams. If you want to, I guess Williams is a decent option, I guess. I mean, in week 1, he did have 7 attempts. 2 targets, 2 receptions. Last week, he had only 1 target, 0 attempts. So it looks like they're not really going to use him. I guess they're going to maybe use him in the passing game, maybe on 3rd down. So maybe he can catch a couple balls. But other than that, not too interested in Williams. And then Nick Boyle, I guess, is probably the lowest I'd go here at 800 through 2 games. Has 4 targets. He does have 3 receptions. Maybe he finds the end zone. I don't know, but not the prettiest play here. But I think Boyle's fine. All right, so just going to give you guys probably my core here. First of all, I do want Lamar Jackson in my lineup. I do want Mahomes in my lineup as well. I think Edwards-HELAIRE is way too cheap. Go down and get a value play here. And I think Hill's way too cheap as well. I'd rather take the savings on Hill than go with KELCE. And then it's kind of hard. If Watkins does not play, I really like this Robinson play here. And I also think BOYKIN's fine. So something like this, multiple options you can go for captain. I mean, I think Hill's a great captain option. Edwards-HELAIRE is a great captain option, especially at that price there. And it would be nice to get both quarterbacks in the lineup here, but it's going to be extremely hard to do so this week. But yeah, so give me these are probably my favorite plays here: Jackson, Edwards-HELAIRE, Hill. I think BOYKIN's fine, Robinson's fine, Mahomes. KELCE's fine, as always. He always has the upside. Andrews is way too cheap this week. Brown always has the upside you're looking at in the showdown. So I'm really looking forward to this game here. It should be a really fun game. Should be really high scoring. I can kind of see the Ravens getting out to a fast start like they do as always, and I can see the Chiefs getting out to a slow start like they seem to do a lot, and I think it's going to be a nice shootout here. It should be a high-scoring game here. All right, guys, that's about it. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like, subscribe if you have not yet. Would really appreciate that a ton. Look out for my other content. My first look video will be out sometime on Tuesday, and then my showdown for Thursday will be out sometime Thursday morning, and then, of course, my final thoughts video will be out sometime on Saturday. Thank you for all the support. And good luck on this showdown slate.